recording? I know I'm in the light here, but oh, look, gorgeousness. The American versions of the limited edition winter baby lips. And in my video the other day I was saying, oh look, it normally says limited edition when they are, and this one doesn't. But hang on a moment. Let's put new batteries in the camera. As it said, please change batteries. Yet again, the batteries ran out. And of course I had to turn it off anyway to refocus, because this camera doesn't refocus. You have to turn it off and then start a recording. So once it's focused on, like it's focused at this distance, if I move it away it won't automatically refocus, it will stay focused as long as I keep things at this distance. But the proof of how silly am I, when I did a recording of one of these the other day and I said, I'm sure this is not limited edition because it always tells you when it is, and I'm saying, look, it just says winter edition. Hang on, let me refocus. I was saying, it doesn't say limited edition, it just says winter edition. But if I'd bothered to read the French underneath, because it's I presume that's French, because it's a foreign language, I thought, well, I don't understand what it, but of course it's obviously, that is saying edition limited, so that's obviously saying limited edition in French. I presume that's French. But so how silly am I saying, oh look, it says winter edition, it doesn't say limited edition, but it says it. So why couldn't they have put it in English, as well as they assume people aren't quite so thick as me and they're going to know that it means limited edition. So yeah, sorry about that. Silly me, silly me. I get nervous when I make recordings anyway, so you know, I overlook things. But so yes, so I now have all the American versions of the winter ones. So that's obviously the American version of Sweet Apple, spice it up. Not as pretty as the, you know, it's a shame they haven't got the lovely snow earmuffs and mittens on there, as I know I keep saying. I think this one's the greatest disappointment. The mint one, the lovely mint one that they've released on the European market, the lovely packaging. I don't know if this one's going to be slightly more colour in it than the one we've got, but I mean the packaging is so disappointing compared. That looks like Melon Mania. And of course this one looks just like Petal Rebel. The packaging looks just like Petal Rebel. This is the equivalent of the gorgeous sugar cookie. What's this one called? Sprinkled Pink or something, isn't it? Yeah, Sprinkled Pink. So this is the first look at these. And I'll do a compare and contrast video. I don't know whether to put this one in as a separate video or to put it in all together. I don't know what's least annoying for people. One very, very long video, or a lot of small videos that could have been made into one long one. Anyhow, we'll see. We'll see. Right, so I've taken them out. I wasn't going to take this one out of its packaging, but I was curious to see if this was going to be the same as the other Cocoa Crush that I've got. Only the other Cocoa Crush is definitely different in shade to the English equivalent, the UK equivalent, Hot Cocoa, or I presume it's the same all over Europe, though I can't speak for Europe obviously. I can only speak for what I've got in this country. But I think, from what I can tell from these do smell the same and are the same as the UK ones. That's the preliminary look so far. And there's the Mint Please, which is more or less like a clear one. I'd say that hasn't got as much colour even as that my favourite, what's it called, Pink Wink, the white, what I call the white pinks, and the Life's a Peach lip gloss, which is the only lip gloss I've got of the baby lips. But I think from my preliminary look, obviously I can't swear to this unless I compare them side by side, but from looking at them, the first look, I'd say yes, they're the same and that they do smell the same. This one's got the same sort of slightly spicy smell, and this one, as to me, has got the sugar cookie, you know, cake dough type of vanilla type smell, but perhaps not quite as strong as the sugar cookie that I've got. This one smells very strongly of mint, I didn't notice. I noticed it smelt more strongly of mint than the mint candy one I've got, which to me I thought smelt better because it had like a creamy mint smell, like it was mint mixed with like something else, maybe cream or perhaps chocolate or something. This one, I think. But then when I opened the one I had of these originally, I thought it smelt exactly the same, was exactly the same as hot cocoa, until I compared them together and realised they weren't. So we'll see. I don't want this to be a very long video, but because I like the compare and contrast ones to be quite short. But this will be the first part of it, and we'll see. We'll see. I must say, if I hadn't been spoilt by seeing the gorgeousness of the sugar cookie packaging, I would think this was wonderful. That lovely, pretty colour combination. And it is pretty. It's certainly the prettiest, I think, anyway, of these four. Sorry about the shadows, but as I've said many times, the inadequacy of the circumstances in which I have to film. I'm at my friend's house at the moment, and in a tiny, tiny little room. But anyhow, it's pretty colour combination, but it seems a shame and unfair that Maybelline are depriving the American market and Canadian market of the lovely packaging and the pretty tubes designs that we had over here. But I'm sure many people won't even bother about it. That's just me, because these things matter to people like me that care about the aesthetics of, you know, how something looks. But I'm sure most people won't care. They'll just be glad to get, they're just bothered about them on their lips and, you know. But called it the artistic creator in me or something. That, oh no, that's whatever. But I'm one of those sad people that do like the packaging as well. But I do think this is pretty. I don't know what that boom was outside, and the wind or a lorry or something. Anyhow, yeah, so I'm pleased I've got these, and I'll do the compare and contrast when I'm home. So which are the best colour combinations? I think those two go well together, and these two I think look lovely together, those two. How sad am I? I know, but you know, me and my colour schemes. Oh, those two do look nice together. Yeah, I think they look good together, those colour schemes. Both together, side by side, very nice. These things matter. To me, anyway. Oh, they are both together. That's the equivalent, that sugar cookie, that's the sprinkled pink. Mint candy, mint please. Where did I get to? The camera ran out of, I had to stop and delete something. Okay, what did I get to? Sweet apple. I meant to say sweet apple, spice it up, hot cocoa, cocoa crush. Looking at the swatches in indoor light, not energy bulbs which make everything yellow, I hasten to add, an old-fashioned one, but I'd say these ones are the same. There's sugar cookie on the, no, sugar cookie there in the middle. The one on the outside is sprinkled pink, and I'd say yes, they do smell the same, they smell like cookie dough. And then we have mint candy, and on the outside mint please, and I'd say those are both the same. And now we have sweet apple on the outside, then spice it up, and I think this one smells just slightly different to this one, but they are more or less the same. And then there's hot cocoa, and then cocoa crush. So that's the most difference I can see between these two. This one, in the one I've got anyway, is definitely lighter than this one. And don't forget, this is not the one I had the other day, this is the one that I had today, so I've now got two of these. And this one is darker than the UK equivalent, as you can see by that swatch, but I'd say the others are near enough identical to be classed as the same. So unless you're really, like me, keen on getting different packaging, you don't need to duplicate these if you just want the colour on your lips, because those two I say are the same apart from the packaging. I think that is very pretty. I'm going to compare it to Petal Rebel in a minute. But yeah, so as you can see, there is a definite difference between Cocoa Crush and hot cocoa. Oh, as you can see, there's sprinkled pink there compared to Petal Rebel, and the packaging, yeah, it is different because sprinkled pink is a much paler shade. Sorry about the shadows, but as I say, everything's inadequate when I have to do anything here. But yeah, so I'm glad I've got it because it's a very pretty shade. It's a paler shade of pink, and of course here's this is a bit confusing when you see these two together because they are different enough. I mean, this is green, Melon Mania, and this one is more of a mint shade. But then of course you've got, so you know, those are all similar enough to make me think, why didn't they release this in the pretty one that we had, oh no, this one. So, you know, that's much, to me, that's much prettier, that one, than get it right in a minute, than this. Yeah. So there we go. That's just to compare and contrast with mix these up a bit now. Petal Rebel, sprinkled pink, Melon Mania, mint please, and Twinkle, or peach punch as it's called over here. So yeah, there we go. Oh, I do like this as well. That is pretty, I must say. I must admit I do like that. Though I prefer the one we've got, because it's so pretty. The sugar cookie one. Anyhow, I shall do another comparison in the daylight. All being well, I hope it's going to be a brighter day tomorrow. I still haven't uploaded the corals. I'm going to try and do that in a minute before I go to bed. Dark out. It's about 4 in the morning. Things I do for in the name of baby lips. Just looking down on these two now, you can see they are a totally different colour. This Petal Rebel, and the much lighter tube is sprinkled pink. And of course, sprinkled pink, even though it's in a lighter tube, it comes out much darker as opposed to Petal Rebel, which is a very light one. I'll do a quick swatch. Right, as you can see, there's the paler one is Petal Rebel, and that one is sprinkled pink. As I could say, that is exactly the same as Sugar Cookie, but I will do a swatch of the four in the daylight. It's another dull, miserable day. It's only about 3:15 in the afternoon, and it's very, very dim. I'm just showing these at first to show how similar that one is to those two. Let me turn the radio down. Hang on. Right, I've turned the radio down, but unfortunately the camera seems to pick up the slightest sound. Anyhow, there's Mint Please, and there's the two that it looks like, Melon Mania and well, Peach Punch, or Twinkle in the US this is called. And whereas they could have given them this lovely packaging, because this is the British equivalent, that's mint candy. There it is next to the American version. But I know some people don't care about the packaging, so... And I'm just showing these because this is in daylight now. There's the new sprinkled pink next to Petal Rebel. It's its lighter colour, and there's our Sugar Cookie. But I do like this, I must say. Now I've seen it. It is a pretty pale pink and pale blue. Looks very nice. But this one is disappointing packaging. Sorry if anyone likes it, but I'm sure some people do prefer that. But you know, this is what they could have given them with the mittens and earmuffs and snow, as I keep saying. Right, here they are all together. The winter collection for 2015 of Baby Lips, the American and the UK versions all together. So there's the two mint ones, Mint Candy, Mint Please. There's the two pink ones, Sugar Cookie and Sprinkled Pink. The two cocoa ones, Hot Cocoa and Cocoa Crush. And the two spicy ones as Spice It Up and Sweet Apple. So there they are. That's the winter edition in America, they're called, and the winter delights over here. And from what I can tell by doing the swatches last night in Indoor Light, they are the actual product, not the packaging obviously, but the actual product. They are all exactly the same apart from these two, and I've tried this with two Cocoa Crush compared to that, unless that one is off. I've got another one of those, but I don't want to open it because I'm keeping it in reserve. But I won't compare it to Peach Kiss again, because I've already done that, and it's almost identical. Well, I could say it is identical to Peach Punch, except for the fact that Peach Punch has got a bit of shimmer in and this doesn't. So I'm not going to do that one again, because let's face it, the quality of the equipment I have to work with, the swatches end up not the best in the world, because so many faults wrong with the equipment I'm using. Anyhow, these two are slightly different, and I'll try and do a swatch on my leg if there's enough light in here to see by, because I wanted people to see what they look like in the daylight, because I do appreciate that indoor lighting can sometimes make things look a bit different. Even though I don't have an energy bulb that makes everything yellow, I do have an ordinary light bulb. So let's start. Right, I've loosened all their lids ready, and I shall start doing the swatches now. It's easier for me to do it with my right hand. Right, this is so as you can see, this is this one, Mint Candy. Again, I have to apologise for the inadequacy of the circumstances in which I have to work, but it's no good. It's not my fault, is it? I either do them or I don't stop doing videos altogether. This is the... where's my leg? There it is. This is the American version of the Mint Please, this one's called. See, there it is next to Mint Candy, and they look, I'd say, I don't know if the camera's even seeing it because I'm holding it at an angle. They look exactly the same. Now here's oh dear, Hot Cocoa. This one compared to Cocoa Crush. See, Cocoa Crush does look darker. It has more intensity of colour, but I think all the others are exactly the same. Sugar Cookie. And from what I remember last night, this is exactly the same as Sprinkled Pink. I'm sure some people will be able to do these swatches in their perfect surroundings, with their perfect webcams and their perfect equipment and their perfect lighting, and so I look forward to that. But in the meantime, if no one else has put any up, this is all that's out there at the moment, as of today. See, look, exactly the same. This is the American one, Spice It Up. A nice intensity of colour. I say there's probably very similar to the spiced up Indian ones. Probably very much, not so much like spicy cinnamon, but probably berry sherbet, or one of the other, I can't remember the name, Tropical Punch. I expect it's similar to that. But see those two? This is this one, the Sweet Apple. And you can see me do the live swatches today by doing them on my leg. Luckily I've got one of those trusty wet wipes with one of these from Poundland to wipe it off. So yes, so there we go. There's sweet apple, spice it up next to it. So that's this one there, and this one next to it. Sorry, this is probably going to go on a long time. I'm trying not to let it. The two pink sugar cookie and sprinkled pink. The two very light ones. The two very light ones, which you can hardly see. You can hardly see those, but they do show up slightly. And then we have the two cocoa ones. Hot cocoa and cocoa crush. And that's the only difference between these that I have is the two cocoa ones, whereas cocoa crush is slightly deeper and darker in intensity of colour than hot cocoa. And of course it's cocoa crush, in my view, is worth having for the lovely packaging. There's the two cocoa ones I've shown many times, and that is lovely, obviously, but the American one I think is lovely as well with the pale blue. But it's such a shame they've given them this in the packaging instead of this. Anyhow, bye. It's 3:30 in the afternoon, the 18th of November, but it's a dull, miserable day. When it brightens up it'll be freezing cold, I expect. You can just about see those, I think, just about.